Radio Democracy, we can talk to the Director of Operations, na the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone, ECSL, we na Mohamed Toure. They can talk about how the commission be all the different election them on June 24 this year. And at the studio at this time, I want to welcome Mohamed Toure, Director of Operations at the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. Good morning and welcome to the program. Good morning, Salon.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so since after the elections, now the first time this would get the ECSL na Radio Democracy. For can talk about the electoral process as June 24, then we conduct election for presidential parliament, get local council, and now the different parts them now the country, outside people being come out for go vote. And after the elections, the commission be done read the results them of the elections according to waiting and waiting, then being processed and pull the results now do and announce the different winners them for the election. Outside the presidential election, the commission be announced President Julius Maada Bio for in second term say he win the election with 56% of the votes. Well, now the program this morning we can talk about the whole process of the elections, as after the announcement of especially the presidential elections, so many concerns be come out from local and international observers and monitor them we been the part of the process where the commission be all the elections them. And since then they will get them concerns and they will not be don't get the commission it's not the studio. We make today and therefore can tell the listeners and viewers on Facebook how the commission be all the different elections them on June 24. But before we look at any concern, let me just say from the ECSL, the operations director within the program this morning, how the commission describe the conduct of the presidential, parliamentary and self-local council elections we been do on June 24. How na describe the conduct of the elections, Sandy?
Yeah, thank you very much. From your point of view, we describe the election as it go according to plan, because we take a lot of years for plan for the election. Planning for an election, they begin after the end of another election. So since 2018, we don't conclude the last election before 2023. We done the plan, and all those plans being culminate to the June 24 election. Of course, we grateful for the support we all stakeholders then give, political parties, voters, the governments for fund the elections, international partners for their support, and all, even civil society groups, the media, we appreciate all teams, and we believe say the result we give out is a true reflection of the vote cast by the public.
All right, so as you say, the commission, according to the elections go as how be the expected and how being planned ahead of the election itself, and the outcome of I believe say reflects the general views of Sierra Leone people. But after the announcement of especially the presidential results, we see concerns come from local and international body them we being observe and monitor the elections. The commission been surprised for the kind thing them where local and international community and begin talk after where the ECSL boss be announced the results, based on the fact that you say as far as concern go as planned. Surprised for a different thing from the one that we've been watch closely be the whole election.
Yeah, largely we've been surprised because for most of the concerns the way the international partners and some other civil society they raise. By the way, not all international partners, I must say, where some international partners they raise. So those concerns them, nobody expect from them, because all what we do them within the confines of the law. And when they judge an electoral process, they judge an electoral process by one, whether the process they in tandem with the law. That's the first thing. Whether the entire process go according to what the law of that country say. If it go against the law, then you go raise questions. So and secondly, you judge a process based on best practices. And if the process go against best practice, then you can also question. And as far as we're concerned, the electoral process there's no point where we go against the law or where we go against best practice. So for there we get some concerns we come out from some people and some groups claiming that we do things we're not really contrary to the law. It'd be unfortunate. Of course, there are some concerns we always look forward to, because no election is perfect. In every electoral process, we always learn, and that's why we can always encourage each of the various polling stations. And there is other day they've been take them to the regional tally centers in the various regions in Bo, Kenema, Bombali, Makeni, Port Loko, and Freetown. Then bring all these other day in the various regional tally centers, and results they've been tallied and processed. And the outcome of them processed, then they give the results. Of course, when the results then they enter into the tally system, some results will get issued can be left out, because for instance, if you get a result will come at the tally center where the tampered evidence envelope is being tampered with, there is a suspicion, they say they're not tampered with this result, they keep it aside. Or the reconciliation part of the reconciliation result form not able to reconcile, because that form they will say will enter the result. You get two parts. You get the reconciliation aspect, you get the result aspect. The reconciliation aspect, now for ensure say waiting you receive and waiting you use and waiting you pull out of the box all match. Where there are discrepancies in the reconciliation process, then they can put aside and try for resolver. So, but if the results come, you get no problem, then it enters straight into the result database.
So any problem been deep and the results that we've been coming?
Yeah, sure. There are some results where we get issues we then put aside. And in fact, that is why when the chairperson announced the final result, you can recall, say, he make mention saying that about 98 or 99% of the result entered into the result database. So we tell you say some not be entered into the database. But what's important for note is that when we do this process, we always take cognizance of the materiality effect. In other words, the number of results will not enter into the result database. If you take the total voter count of those results, even if you give them to the one we can second, it still not get an impact on the result. So as long as the materiality effect, we don't check and we realize say that the one will not enter into the result database not materially affect the outcome of the result, then the commission can go ahead and announce results.
So in your words, the tally processing and system not be get no form of abnormality, it go through the right process?
Yes, surely.
So why objection may come out from some local and international observer them
in
that particular area there?
That's the reason why I say we surprised with some of the concerns we come out from some international organizations and some local observer groups by saying that the tallying process has been transparent. Now, like I said from the beginning, for may you judge an electoral process, there are two things we need to bear in mind. One, the law, the legal framework, and two, best practice. Now, the question we will ask ourselves, the tally process, it go against any laid down law? Is there any law we talk of how for tally we will not abide by that law? No, it's not there. All what we do during the tallying process, they in full tandem with the law. And is they in line with best practice? Yes. The issue where most of the some of the international groups and local parties they raise is about transparency of the tally process.
Okay.
Now, when they talk about transparency, in their opinion, then they say for project the result. Now, projecting result, firstly, is not mandatory. No law nor oblige the commission say for project result. Secondly, we not ever do the as best practice of the electoral system. So because they as best practice and we not ever do and in the law say for do it's very wrong for me judge we say we not do and because we not do it is against the process.
We don't begin look at the process and way the commission may go through before they announce. We start first with the presidential elections. And like I've been telling you, we can look at the concerns them. We come from local and some local and international observers them. But back to Usa, you've been only explained earlier, we get for do with you make mention say the reason why they make on not put certain that data na the system if the envelope come where it's tampered or the reconciliation form gets problem. And in this case, I've been asked if this June 24 elections, any of this been happen, you say yes, it been happen. So now tampered envelopes when I've been get issues with or reconciliation forms and are from whose district?
Now this cut across every district. It's cut across every district. Like I say, when results come out na the field, it come na tally center. Then they process day for you get for receive the result. Of course, in the presence of political party agents in the tally center. Then they open the results, pass them through the next stage, etc. But where in the tampered evidence envelope, we don't seal and done because by right, if you come on tampered with, but if you come with say it inside, for instance, the result inside brown envelope, questions will be raised. Why the result inside brown envelope? So the mere fact that it inside brown envelope first, they put it aside first because it don't raise questions. Why it not inside the envelope inside for day, it inside brown envelope instead? If it inside tampered evidence envelope or the tampered evidence envelope chair, it means it has been tampered with. Again, that's not also concern. Or if the figures not reconcile at all, waiting you say you get, and waiting you say you use, and waiting you get out of the box or not reconcile. These are reasons we make a put aside, and it cut across all districts.
So for clarification purpose, now una the ECSL una workman them been conduct the election, and I believe say na people them way the commission been trust and don't gain for handle them issues here, for handle them voting process and procedures there until the announcement of the result, because are based on waiting then give to the Chief Electoral Commissioner based on waiting coming to the system 9 in the announce. So then issues here we been come with tampered envelopes and reconciliation forms where we get issues. Now waiting be happen exactly where una workman them being make mistake if na mistake they make will result to tampered envelopes and reconciliation forms and will not be match. Now waiting a be the issue.
Now, well, we can't tell waiting na the issue. The system is designed in such a way that at every stage precaution will take place. Now you say we now recruit them, yes. We train them, yes. We trust them, yes. We trust them. But it not means it because if you trust somebody, it's not going to do bad. So because we know say we deal with Motorman, and Motorman get the tendency for make it do bad. That's why we always get checks and control measures in place for deal with anything. So anytime we find ourselves in such a situation, this not to now start. This is the reason why years ago, in 2007, the commission be nullify 447 or so stations. In 2007, 2012, in every election, you must get issues where the result from tampering with results or poor reconciliation, even in by-elections. So but because for by-elections, since the results can be small, we can able to take time and try for go through them and do the corrections if not reconciliation issue. But for general elections, we know the bother with that because we get so much results for process. And after we done process all the one that we no get no issue. We now look at materiality effect. If voting left, even if you take out all you give this a command, if you never win, then it become immaterial.
So how una can penalize one day we they in charge of that for ensure say moving forward una they learn from some of the NTR so that improvements go there for the next elections. And how una can do that?
That's a good point because as the commission, we can always deal with those issues. They get back to we staff them, and especially the one that we see some blatant wrongdoing with the contract, we district staff them, and they're able to trace those staff, and sometimes we blacklist them because we get the names of staff for every center where they work. So it's center also will see some blatant misperformance in terms of how if you fulfill the result form, if you land so wrongly, then that presiding officer they definitely will be blacklisted.
So
that's one way we can punish them.
So in line with the presidential election conduct, we see, on June 26, una do a 60% of the result announcement. How ECSL become about that for say, Leone announce a result of 60% to the public on the presidential?
Well, when election done, voting done on a polling day, of course, the country, they on edge. All man, they look forward to the result. And as a commission, we think, say, we get the obligation for let the people to understand how far we don't go with result processing. So on the 26th, the commission be release 60% of the result, where we don't enter into the result database from across the country. And the 60% now based on the result we don't receive from each of the district. So 60% of those results, 90 commission be announced.
Una be the country be on edge or ECSL be on pressure for go ahead and take that decision day?
Pressure from whom?
Maybe from different parties. Because at that moment, everybody they assume or tell and supporter and say they don't win.
The commission now an independent institution. We don't yield to pressure from anybody. We do, because if we yield to pressure and we do things we not correct, that will question. And the commission. So the commission, because of independence, because of authority, there's no way would they yield to pressure from anybody or from any group.
So the major concern will come out from example the EU will be the elections mission being observed the election, that of the Carter Center, the National Elections Watch and other body them got for do it. Firstly, the tabulation process. The Carter Center make and clear na the statement to them pool for say the tabulation process transparency not been did. The EU elections observation mission safe raise concern for similar issues say the tabulation process not been transparent. Now who that's them been day where the ECSL be they do the tabulation because then say they not been get access and self political party them representative them not been did. Who that's them been day where the ECSL be they do this work?
That is 100% not true. All political parties, particularly the major political parties, if I can put it that way, APC and SAPP, been present in every tally center across the country. In Freetown, in Port Loko, in McKinney, in Bo, in Kenema. They be did it. From day one, they be did it. At no point in time where we go say a political party agent no been did it. They were there. Now, so for me, a body, you see, that's why I say we've been concerned and really, really unfortunate that people we feel say they of some caliber, they go out and put out press releases and make such allegations. We're completely unfounded because we get records, we get signatories of these people who will be served as party agents. We get video evidence of them present at these tally centers.
So now the different districts level them, the representative they might have been there. But when una come na the main center na the ECSL una main center na una Wellington, I think na the right? Una main center.
No, the main center na every region. So
where they don't
one main
where,
center.
Where they don't take all the one from the district and come na Freeton before it announce. Who that them been did for see and clarify say waiting come out na this district level na in this waiting come out na regional na in this who that them been doing at that side
no wait
for verify the results and your way coming.
Make I make some clarification. Every region independent of the other in the processing. Okay, in Makeni, Tally Center, then process all the results from the north, from Bombali, Tonkolili, Falaba, and Kwanadugu.
And then verify them for saying now waiting then get and then form them. Nine when I put in the system, the political party and the observer then verify them.
Make I again make me understand and make the public understand this process. When we enter results in the Tally Center, as part of the procedure, any political party agents will get the right for at any point in time for raise concern of a particular result of a particular center, and the commission oblige for make it see the result we don't enter into result database if we verify with the result we get. You know, and the unfortunate thing is most of the parties not be even get the result forms with them, and we always encourage them get result forms. That's why we give you copies of the result form.
Okay.
Get result forms, Olam, because we want you from there una also check with, because we as a commission we believe say for there una convince say what we do correct. It will find for there una dey in a position for check with. But how you go check with when even waiting we give una as result una go use for verify waiting with the enter una counter. But besides that point, that notwithstanding, we enter results into the various regional Tally centers, and then all what happen is that then from the various regional Tally centers, they send the result from each district, and at that the commission announced.
So the one where they be sending results here now be asked just not say if the one that we observe the elections, the political party representative them then verify that final result. They say waiting then get the data where they collect now go into the system where the ECSL was announced.
The media na each Tally center. I don't really say well
because then they are now one, but verifying again for say okay, waiting I get some paper I been take. Now in the inside this way they don't put on the system for announce. No, all that thing.
Wait, you know where they say for verify from paper. It look completely impracticable, because imagine we talk about 400-500 stations, for instance, say now Bombali.
Because of that verification, they get the problem where the transparency come in. Say the people are not being political party not being representative them, and the one they say for observe the election. I don't take example from the Qatar Center where before me I don't open the statements, and also the EU observation mission the statements have open here where clearly then they raise concerns. Say transparency not been there.
Now I don't talk say the argument about transparency is that then say if a project the tally process, that is their concern. That they talk about transparency, and I don't also talk say with regards to this issue of transparency, it is not against the law, because no law, no the we talk say the commission for project tally results, and secondly, it not against best practice. The commission in any general election no ever project result. So how can you now come and say at the nick of time that this must be done, and if it is not done, it is not right? Okay. When it is not against the law, nor is it against best practice.
So it's bad if we not been do that.
We're not being there in a position for doing, because
Why?
it requires a process. It requires setting up of things, and we're not being there in that state for make it one. You see, this is not technology. You need just grab our money, say do this. for we set up the Tally Center, it took us months. So, on a day now, you say, do this, and you expect it will be done.
Well, we continue to look at the issues, and we come out from where the ECSL boss be announced the election results. Then, let we now can look at concern we come where the ECSL boss be announced the final presidential result, and that of the statements will come out from the National Elections Watch new based on the prvt system, where na technology system we then use for pull their own projections them and data where they may get from the elections, and from waiting them then see from their own data then based on that system they way according to Carter Center and the EU. Now system that one they would then believe say they give projection them, and Salon be using at the 2018 elections and as well, and a credible according to them. For the ECSL, waiting on a makeup of the prvt system where the National Elections Watch being used and pull their own data them according to waiting them fair notes from that system day.
Okay, thank you again. Now we talk about Carter Center and EU, then support say the survey tool credible. Again, before that, I just want to draw the attention of we all say not only Carter Center and EU observe this election, other international groups.
Example I
make. I just make a point. Please. I just say we get other international bodies them like ECOWAS, Africa Union, Commonwealth, where they praise the election and then praise the process and praise the outcome of the process. Now, with regards the prvt we new pull out, you self don't indicate say now projection, then project the result. And projection is a projection. It may or may not be as the reality, as the final result. If you take some other 30 polling stations, you sample them and make a projection. Yes, somebody will send us a statistical survey, and then they say it's credible. You never expect them for say not credible. You will make it double for address and fine. They will always say it's credible.
So for ECSL,
there's always room for error, and then as users of such a tool, for always understand say, yes, this is a projection. This projection might or might not be the reality. So for me, even unfortunate for made a claim, say, or made a give the impression that because they project that this is how it should be, and because it not be that way, then it means waiting the commission give out is flawed. Is really unfortunate. In make no logical conclusion.
So now I ask, waiting the commission make up of the data where the National Elections Watch gets from the prvt system, because the reason why they ask, according to them, these are the largest sample size we then use compared to the 2018, where we not be hearing all this challenge from. And according to that particular largest sample size when they use from the elections, there was supposed to be a runoff, but the ECSL let me get different thing.
Now, largest sample size no indicate accuracy. In such a survey, there are several other parameters. Sample size is just one. Methodology is another one. The locations where they collect sample from, knowing fully well how we political landscape they, is also another factor. There are several factors where they come together for able for give you such a data. Now, again, we can make this point. We, as a commission, at no point in time in this process, they knew involved we in this process. Because before now, when they do such a survey, then they always involve the commission. This time around, at no point in time, then involve we as a commission, not then even bring to we information that they're going to do this. We only come to know about prvt. That was after polls. I think was it on the second day or so where the chairperson of new within a radio will be threatened, say, then get the PRVT, etc., etc. So if sometimes we talk about transparency.
So now not be aware say new they use this system on election. 2018 they use them.
No, well, not 2018. Like I say, in this electoral process, we're not aware, they're not informed, because before now, in other electoral cycles, they can get me with me and inform me about the use of statistical data. This time around, they're not informed me, we're not part of it. So even the process what they use, transparent, it being clouded. Why they cloud them, we don't know.
I know that for see all the process we new use no, be transparent. We see already they're not involved now.
Well, because they're not involved, we make us not transparent. Because we're now key institution in the electoral process. How can you undertake such a survey without letting us understand what they do, methodologies we use?
So in terms of
so how can you?
All the issues we come up from new and other, observer them, both local and international, in any way it bother ECSL, especially with the objection or concern, gets a threat on the integrity of ECSL, the work?
Of course, it bother we in the sense that when they see black, you call them white, it bothers us. Because, like I say, it is grossly unfair for you judge we based on something else other than whether we go by the law or whether we go by best practice. In every electoral process, as an observer, which you judge the process by, these are the two key parameters. Did the process go according to laid down law? Did the process go according to best practices? All of these questions to ours, the answer is yes. So how can you come now and say, because you say at the nick of time say do A, we say no, we can't do A. We can't do A because one, it's not in the law. We can't do A because it's not best practice. And then you come out and say it's not correct or not transparent.
So, Mr. Ture, based on the fact you say the National Elections Watch not be involved and not be informed on say, then they use the PRVT. But apart from that, on a trust the PRVT system, taking into consideration ECSL been conduct 2018 election where them been use this same system also for monitor this election. On a trust the PRVT, apart from the fact that they're not telling us that they use 2023.
Surveys are surveys. Projections are always prone to be correct or to be wrong.
So this one where they make for ECSL, a correct or a wrong?
No, as far as we're concerned, a wrong, because we are the only legitimate body and we give a result based on more than 11,000 polling stations. So if you take a sample and project, are you saying because you project
but
at
all
all
been
costs,
disagree in
at
2018.
all costs, no, wait me. In every survey, if you in the Great America, before now, then they do surveys, opinion polls, etc. In 2016, they did an opinion poll and then say Hillary Clinton they win. Donald Trump went off for win. So it is not that at every stage the survey before be correct. No. So if it no matter say it be correct in 2012, it no matter say it was correct in 2018, it doesn't mean that if it be correct in those instances, it should be correct now. And then self as an institution need to understand and look back and say, okay, if we don't get this one wrong, what did we do wrong? What did we do that was not in line with due diligence? Or did we leave out some other factors we will not take into account? We might have affected the outcome of the result.
So the ECSL thing say they miss
they can't
something
say because
out.
them project. They can't say because them project say this is what should happen and it not happen. Theirs is correct and ours is wrong.
So when we get the mandate for conduct and announce election results, waiting on a thing say new miss where then give that particular data they show say we for go on a runoff, but the ECSL announce otherwise. Waiting they miss.
No, we can't say, like I say, we are not involved. That's left to the intellectuals who made them do the analysis. But we, as far as we know, we give out results based on what we received, And of course, if you look at the margin of polling stations, we get correct data from the polling stations, and you just do projection. There's no way you will claim, say, your projection must be as accurate. So even in the projection, they get variance, they get range.
Looking at the margins and the way you just...
That's how I say a projection is not 100% perfect. That's why they always give range.
So looking at the margin and the way you just make mention of, bring me to the question of the much talked about disaggregated figures them, the disaggregated figures them where people raise concern about, and I take you back to the observers and the way they even make reports and statements and say that disaggregated figure, then still look forward and then for let the ECSL the colonel for publish them so that people are able to see station level how them figures and they be coming, and for Leone publish them, let people are able to know from the 60% on announced and that of the final results, all them figure in the waiting to happen to them.
Yeah, we are aware of that, and we take note of then recommendation and the way the observers they raise, and the commission, of course, get we still depend on some. We not done in as much as we announce results. We still get some work for do at hand. The commission they meet in a retreat very soon, next month, and in that retreat we serve as a commission. They sit down, reflect, look at what went right, look at what went wrong, and then we able for profile way forward for next election. So after all them process, then the commission can come out with whatever they come out with.
How the tickets get waiting the tickets for do with the delay we don't take una for publish something we una already say una get because now based on that una announce the final results. Waiting the prevent una for put down the public and publish them when are based on una announce the results.
Well, again, you say delay, no current delay.
But you not come it.
No, but not to delay, because if you say delay is like it's supposed for come at this time and you not come at that time, then you can't delay.
It's almost a month after the election.
But it doesn't mean that it's supposed for come at that time. There is no law where boundary say at this point if it happen at this time, and if not at that time, they go say it don't delay.
So waiting the prevent now.
Now they come. You know, again, make a comeback. At the beginning of this discussion, I talk say you judge an electoral process based on two factors: legal framework and best practice. Okay, legal framework and best practice. When we conduct the election, anything we do, if it is in line with the law and we not do them, you go say we don't default or we don't delay. If you know in the law, say do it at this time, then the commission will take in time for do waiting if I do, because one for ensures whatever I do, it gets right. And that's what the commission is doing.
So in terms of the lesson learned or looking back on things where una can consider as mistake after any electoral process, how much una can really consider and work on them? Because in any election we keep happen, some of them mistakes they keep on repeating itself. Especially the example I go give, the one we get for do voting material going at center on time.
No, well, again, we learn from every electoral process.
So why not improve on the timing if we learn from every process?
We improve greatly.
Pause one exactly.
Improve greatly. Now, I can tell you, say, the only area which have been get challenged with late arrival of material is Western Urban. In the rest of the country, all materials arrive on time, pools open on time. In the rest of the country. And before now, in 2018, that was the main challenge. The main challenge was how do we get materials to these centers on time, because we get far away places. But because of the lessons learned from the past, we're able to deal with that. But again, we get in Western Urban, we get it wrong. So again, that's a lesson learned. We go for learn the lesson there and therefore improve on them so that by next election, Google forget Western Urban and the rest of the country. Right.
It's actually, we see concern they come up from some people who will not be employed, but still not paid it. How far on that?
Yes, it is true, and the commission, they work strongly towards that, and we really hope that by the end of the week, go before the with that station day. I wish for use opportunity for tell thanks and appreciation to the polling staff them for their patience. We understand say it don't delay a little bit, and as a result of that, we say thanks to them for their patience, and we made them be small, and that very very soon we ensure say we deal with that.
So back to the issue of the disaggregated results data where people they wait for. The commission you say when I go for go on the retreat. How long you go for take una for let una finally publish them figures there so people so that the one that we closely monitor the election go able to get the results them una go publish this from the disaggregated figures them and able for compare to waiting them being gets regarding the announcements of the results. How long you go for take una for publish them?
When the commission ready, we publish the result. But we there's no way we give you time. Say this is when we do it because the law no give time for that.
So na not get them disaggregated figures there, na not get them, na not get the data.
Of course, we get the data.
Well, na not go just publish them.
No, we need just publish like that. The commission, like I say, is an institution, and as an institution, the leadership of the commission they meet with the staff of the commission. We get discussions before the commission decide what next.
All right, so before we wrap up the program, since the announcement of the results, we see the main opposition, the All People's Congress, APC party, still stand say they're not going to be part of this governance because for them, the election results where the ECSL announced, you not go through all the procedures them way is supposed to go through. They don't make it transparent as is supposed to be, and they don't get their own position as a party where, according to the APC, they don't get issues with President Biyo, they don't get issues with President Biyo in government, but they get issues with the ECSL. Waiting on a make-up of them concerns here where they come from the main opposition with una the ECSL.
There's a process. The law makes it clear that after the announcement of result, if you agree with the announcement of result, you can take the matter to court. So we don't wish that whichever party will agree take the matter to court, because when you take the matter to court, then both parties will get the opportunity for present evidence in court for prove their case. So for we wish that happen. Okay, so we now have control over waiting then go say, but we go wish that then go with the law because that's what the law says.
So for them, from where they make this call, all waiting them in need and follow una address the concerns and where they raise. Where one pan and get for do it, them disaggregated results data here, where you say una gets, but una not they tell people them yet when una go for publish them because the law not permit una for get any stipulated time say from now to now una go publish them. So you accept say the ECSL now one of the problems them we make the governance day like I did so today.
Like seriously, you think say the ECSL now?
Because you say when I get the figures them. So for bring a solution to something, why wanna not go just publish?
Why
and say if APC, now this one they ask for,
why not ask APC? Why not ask APC? Then they claim say the results not correct. Then say wrong, right? Why not ask APC? When they produce what they get, what different from what.
So the ECSL na una they manage and conduct election. Na una supposed to give the public.
We don't give out what you believe is correct.
Take for read the results.
We don't give out a result, right? We don't give out a result. And that result gets figures, isn't it?
We disaggregated and una self no say it disaggregated.
Get figures, and we give political parties, every political party results forms. Give it to them. So if a political party feel aggrieved, come on, the logical thing you should do is one, present or produce your result. If you really believe, say, what you say correct, produce what you get about.
So
Let
we
we see.
make una no one for produce the
Or secondly,
disaggregated
go to
figure.
court. Or secondly, go to court. Okay? So if you not produce what you get as a result, and you not go to court, but they still claim, say, they rob you.
So if they're not
What are you
produce,
saying?
una no go produce on your own?
That's not what we are saying. We are saying we go produce when we want to produce.
With that the timeline not the forum.
We go produce when I want to produce because law not give you timeline
All right.
as to when we dey produce. We as a commission, we dey go by the law and we dey act in accordance with the law.
All right. Many thanks to you Canada program this morning. Mohammed Toure, Director of Operations and the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone. Thank you, we Canada studio this morning.